Greetings, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Critical Podcast. My name is Jimmy Good, and I'm your host, and joining me this week is my go-to podcast compadre, one of them, Mr. Levi Fletcher. Levi, how's it going, buddy?
Hey, I'm not doing fine. No, I'm doing well.
What? No? I feel like you're not doing fine. Is it because you want to play some Sekiro? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Sekiro? Yeah, it's a good game. Even I want to play some more of it. Oh
I knew I'd get you.
Yeah, well, yeah, once again. Anyway, thank you to everybody who's joining us once again. And if you're new here, we love talking about pretty much everything in pop culture. That includes, but is not limited to, movies, music, TV shows, video games, theme parks, whatever else we want to talk about. This week, we're going to make a tight little show because Joe isn't here to talk about Star Wars. And if Joe is a Star Wars fan, Levi, I think we both could agree it'd be like a 3-hour show. But we want to talk about Star Wars Celebration. Now, we're not going to go over every little detail of all these things, but there are three major things that we want to talk about this week. And we're talking Star Wars Episode 9, Rise of Skywalker. We're talking about The Mandalorian, and we're talking about Jedi Fallen Order, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Let's jump right into Rise of Skywalker. Levi, I know you love these movies. How are you feeling now after seeing the trailer finally for Episode 9? What are your initial thoughts?
I don't know. I'm kind of over this story. I'm still a defender of The Last Jedi. There's a group of us out there that really do like this film, and I'm sticking to that. I do like The Last Jedi. There are some shortcomings, but yeah, I care more about like Rey and Kylo's like connection, and that's what really pulled me into that film than anything else. I don't really need the fan service.
Do you think would you like them to be romantically linked, or is it just that they actually have a strong connection that's interesting to you?
Just a strong connection. We don't need any romantic incest Luke and Leia.
We don't know. Again. They could or could not be related, but at this point they could very well be if J.J. Abrams has his way. We don't know.
Yeah. No, I'm fine with them just being like, connected through the Force.
Sure. Yeah, fair enough. I guess for me, honestly, this trailer didn't do a lot. Like, the only thing that got me was the fan service kind of at the very end, which is the Emperor Palpatine laugh. No, the laugh of just Palpatine, just cackling. And I'm like, oh, cool. That'd be cool to have him back. And kind of seeing like the Death Star on Endor probably is kind of what we're seeing there with like the water and maybe kind of going underwater and stuff. I have this theory, Levi. It's going to be like the Emperor's body is still around and like decaying. And it's like a witch in a movie where it's like the witch is like an apparition, but you have to like go burn the actual body to like get rid of the apparition forever. So like that's my thought, is like the Emperor is like sitting in a Force cocoon in the water or something somewhere, and they have to dive and freaking like burn him or something. I know it's stupid, but like I don't know how else you bring him back. Like they kind of really killed him, but like I guess not. Question though for you, besides Rey and Kylo and stuff, which Kylo I think is interesting to me, and the Knights of Ren I think is something that I've been waiting to see for a long time. Do you care about Poe and Finn, Leia, like Chewie, C-3PO? Like, do any of those characters are like, oh, I want to know what happened to them?
I like Poe. I'm done with the other characters. I don't really care about their storylines right now.
Yeah.
And I'm just honestly really ready for this whole saga to wrap up and give us something new.
Yeah, and it sounds like after this, they're going to go on a little bit of a hiatus for these kind of episodes for like 10, 11, and 12. But it sounds like we have like Rian Johnson's trilogy still in the works, and then the directors and creators of the Game of Thrones TV show who are working on some Star Wars movies too, which honestly, even though I'm not a Game of Thrones fan at all, like that is interesting to me. I'm like, okay, what could they do with it? Especially if they try to tackle like the Old Republic, like way, way back, like thousands of years ago, like thousands of Jedi, thousands of Sith. I think those guys could do a really bang up job with it. And Rian Johnson getting to do his own thing might be is good for everybody, because it seems like that was kind of a big problem.
You got to have a little respect for the people that brought Game of Thrones to life and made billions of people fall in love with like things that you wouldn't think people would like this decade, because it was like, oh, Lord of the Rings was last decade.
Yeah, I'd say a lot of it helped. I think Peter Jackson, in a weird way, with Lord of the Rings, helped like for those people like us who were like craving something else. Then this came along, and then more people kind of got onto it. And they're like, okay, like it's like think of Lord of the Rings, but like even more mature in some ways, and then like over longer periods of time. And hopefully that Amazon show, man, I hope that's good. I'm really hopeful for it. But anyway, so let's just do a hypometer check for Rise of Skywalker, because it seems like both of us are kind of checked out a little bit. How do you feel right now? Scale 1 to 10.
I don't know. I saw a really good meme the other day that was like, Rise of Skywalker blue font, and it was like, remember Lando? Remember all these things? Fuck, we're desperate.
Yeah, exactly. They're like pulling. Like, these.
Yeah. God, I mean, like I'm at a 4.
Sure. Yeah, I think for me, I'm at like a 6. I know you liked Rey's weird slow motion backflip to attack Kylo and his TIE fighter, but I don't think that looks good. I think it looks really bad. I don't know. It's something weird about it. I don't know. I guess I just don't care about any of these characters, and that's probably the sign of a bad trilogy. I just don't have any emotional connection to any of them. And I know some people out there listening to this might be like, oh, I love Rey, or I like Poe to some extent, but I'm with you, Levi, totally. Like, let's wrap up this freaking thing. And like, I'm so excited about this other stuff, honestly, way more. Like the TV stuff, I'm way more excited about.
I just want something completely different with no fan service needed. Like, don't have to bring back Han, don't have to bring back Leia, don't have to bring back all these characters for like gimmicks and
Yeah, nope, I totally agree. And that's why we're going to move into the thing I'm most excited about to come out of Star Wars Celebration, The Mandalorian, which will be coming at launch on Disney Plus, their streaming service and stuff like that. Levi, do you know anything about this? I know we've talked about it in the past.
Nope.
Okay, so Pedro Pascal, you know him from Game of Thrones. Apparently, he got his head crushed in by the mountain or something.
Yep.
Spoilers. He was also in The Great Wall. He was also in Equalizer 2. He's been in a bunch of stuff. He's probably been things he's better known for. But he is going to be playing the title role, the eponymous role of the Mandalorian. He got some kind of information that kind of leaked from like the actual like showing of some of the behind the scenes stuff. And it looks really good. A lot of people are kind of comparing it to kind of more of like a Western vibe, which I think it does deal with that. And it's going to be set, I think, 5 or 6 years after Return of the Jedi. So another one of those kind of in-between, trilogy spaces, which I think there's a lot of kind of untapped potential with. But Jon Favreau being there, I know a lot of people are excited about Taika Waititi directing, I think, like an episode and maybe doing the voice of IG-88, which is that kind of assassin droid with the tall black kind of head with all the little red eyes. But yeah, I'm honestly, from what I've seen, it looks very Rogue One kind of like that style, like that shooting of it, and it looks very practical. Like a lot of the stuff seems very real, and I like the whole idea of going to the dark and gritty underworld stuff, which they've kind of teased at a few times in like the movies and the games, but we haven't really gotten to focus so much on it. Maybe in the Clone Wars a bit, but does that interest you at all?
Yeah, I mean, it's something different, but I just don't want to keep going backwards. I don't want anything to do with this timeline. I just want something in the future. Yeah. Move past all this, so just move on.
Sure. Do you want to go like really far in the future, like 100 years, or do you want to go like 20 years?
I don't care, just somewhere else.
Okay, somewhere else. Fair enough. But anyway, for me, I'm really excited about that. That's probably more like an 8 or 9 for me on the hypometer, just because I'm looking forward to it. Okay, so you'll watch it. So it's like maybe not on the hype meter for you, but like you'll just like, well, just check it out for Disney. Like that's a selling point for me, like day one to check that out, because I'm like, yeah, I'll give that a shot. Plus, like they're putting money into this, and it seems like it's kind of like Star Wars answer to doing like a more mature TV show that they've never done a television show like this before. So it's really interesting, man. They're putting so much money into TV nowadays. You know what I mean? Like after Game of Thrones is like, hey, we can prove it works. Everyone else is like, maybe us too. Yeah, but I'm really excited about it. What is one thing in this show that you would love to see that would get you actually excited though? Remember, this is post Return of the Jedi.
More lightsabers.
More lightsabers. Maybe. Do you think they'll try to put Mark Hamill into this?
That'd be weird.
But like starting to train up like as little Jedi Order or something?
Maybe.
Holy crap, that would be pretty cool. Oh my gosh. Anyway, sorry. Speaking of Jedi though, let's talk about something where we're kind of seeing some lightsabers. Not a lot of information still though. We're talking Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, the game coming out from Respawn. We got a cinematic trailer for this. We got introduced to the main character. We saw some stuff happen. We know it's a third-person action game, but besides that, we didn't get to see any combat, any gameplay, or anything like that. Probably saving it for E3. Makes sense to me. However, I'm not going to lie, though. A little disappointed. I really wanted to see some of this stuff. Like, am I wrong here, man? Did you want to, like, see the actual game?
Yeah, but, I mean, it looks good. The CG, as the trailers go.
Yeah, they say it's in-game engine, but I never trust any of that stuff anymore, because I always feel like they say that, and then it's like, I don't know if I can believe what I'm seeing right now, because I want to, but oftentimes it's not. But he does do that kind of like wall run thing, which is a lot like a pilot from Titanfall. And before I was saying like, oh, they'll probably make his movement a lot like a pilot from Titanfall. So I'm excited to see that. And apparently the feedback from like actually using a lightsaber is really, really good too. Because Respawn's always been known for the feel of their games. But I'm really excited about it. I was still kind of bummed. I wanted to see more though. I was like, oh,
I mean, Respawn is on a roll right now. So if they can continue that trend, let's see what they can do.
yeah.
Oh my god. I would fucking play a Battle Royale, Star Wars Battle Royale.
And I know they've confirmed this won't have any microtransactions or multiplayer. So it's going to be single player. But I could totally one day I could see that if it went well enough to do a Star Wars Battle Royale.
Yeah, I mean, like just drop shipping clones and like your
dude, that would be pretty cool. Yeah, we did get to see.
People are like, but that's Battlefront 2, and I'm like, bah!
Yeah, exactly. No, don't get Battlefront 2. Get the old one, Star Wars Battlefront 2. I think it's free with Xbox.
I downloaded it. Thank you for the
dude. Me too. Yeah, I was gonna say like sometime we should boot that baby up. That thing is good, man. Like you can't go prone anymore, but I still love that game. So they talked about kind of showing off like the Inquisitors. They showed like one of the Inquisitors who's like kind of during that era, like the Rebels era. So this game's set between episodes 3 and 4. So right after the Jedi Purge, and they have these new troopers called Purge Troopers that look really cool because they always have to make a new scary trooper. But I love this period of Star Wars more than probably any other period, or the idea of it is really exciting to me just because I love Darth Vader, and that's when he's like in his prime, and like I just know we're gonna fight Vader at some point, or we're gonna see him, or something's gonna go down. But they keep saying like trust no one, so I wonder if like even your Jedi Knight friend will betray you at some point or whatever else. But I'm really excited about it. I'm gonna put it still. I'm gonna try to keep it curbed though, hypometer wise, 8 out of 10, just because I wanted to see actual gameplay. Because you're killing me, Respawn. I don't want to just see the.
I'd say 8 out of 10 as well.
Yeah, and I know we talk about doing like co-op and stuff, but I get why they're kind of doing, they're kind of focusing that. So I trust Respawn though. They are one of the only companies for video games that I'm just like, make whatever you want, and I'm excited to see what you do because I trust you. I trust you, Respawn. I trust you, Vince Sampaio. Yeah, I'm excited about it. Levi, out of all these things though for Star Wars, what is the thing that you are most excited about?
Out of all the Star Wars things?
Yeah, out of these things, 3 things, the trailer, the game. Yeah,
it's more tangible.
I think so too. I'm still really excited about The Mandalorian though. And like you could tell that people were losing it when they talked about the different directors being involved and a lot of money going into this thing. So, and I like Pedro Pascal. I really actually do like him. Like,
maybe it'll be the new Game of Thrones.
Dude, I know so many, there's going to be a power vacuum. Like Witcher wants to be that, Lord of the Rings TV show wants to be that. Like, we'll see. I don't know. I hope for the best though. But yeah, I'm interested to know if you guys, who's listening here, if you're interested, what's the most exciting one of these things to you? Because they all sound pretty cool to me. But I guess if I had to rank them, I'll go Jedi Fallen Order, Mandalorian, and Rise of Skywalker. Man, I'm with you, man. Like the more I think about it, the more I'm just like kind of bored. I'm like,
and whatever. I was really excited for those films to like come out, the first one, and when we got the first one, we were like, this is a lot of rehashing.
Do you think
the second one came out and it was super divided? And
do you think it's because the second one kind of feels like the ending? Like they kind of do all the big things?
Yeah, I do. And like you got Luke's gone, and now you're gonna bring him back in a weird way, which you didn't need to.
Yeah. I think, and after all those months of Mark Hamill just being like, nope, this is not what
we could have just had a cliffhanger where like Kylo's like standing next to Luke and just like turns on the
dude.
That's
people would have lost it. See that we should make movies. Yeah.
People are like, that's a horrible idea.
It's probably a bad idea. Anyway, like I said, we're keeping it a tight show this week, but I've got a lot to say in this next segment of the show that I like to call, Levi likes to call, we all like to call Time Killers. Yes, Time Killers, the games we've been playing, the movies we've been watching, the TV shows we've been viewing. Levi, do you want me to take point on this, or did you wanna hop in?
You got it, buddy.
All right. I once saw a little movie the other day called Hellboy, Rise of the Blood Queen, or just Hellboy? Is that what it is? So, okay, Levi, I've got some bad news. Hellboy, or 2019, right now, as it stands, production budget $15 million. It pulled in domestically right now, and I don't know if we're waiting for the worldwide release, but it's only pulled in 14 million, which is pretty bad. That is really bad. So I'll say this: a lot of people are kind of giving it kind of a big kicking. If I had to review it, and I try to keep the other Hellboy like films, the duology, out of it, but it's hard for me because I like the character of Hellboy. I like you know, kind of a team of like these supernatural paranormal like searchers who are going out to like fight evil, and they all have like a few kind of special powers, but none of them is like super duper powerful. Like Hellboy is very durable, but he can't, there's a lot of things he can't do. Like Liz in the original 2, she could like do like super fire, and like Hellboy can't take out a lot of, you know, little things, or he can't do big AoE area of effect attacks. But yeah, so trying to keep that out of my mind. I see where people are coming in around the 5 or 6 mark out of 10 with this. I completely understand that. There are some redeeming qualities. David Harbour is, I'm going to put him in just like the middle, because I don't know if he's good or he's bad. There's just so much makeup, and he yells so much that it's so hard to understand him. He's just like, it's like, excuse me, what is it? Like, I didn't get that. And sometimes the music, they played like a Royal Blood song, I think it's what it was, and they like had it really loud, Levi, for like 10 seconds, and then it was kind of quiet for a few while they talked, and then they cranked it back up again. I was like, but they showed like just Jeeps driving during the music. It was like such a waste of the song. I was like, what do we, I don't know. There's like a lot of problems. The CGI, some of it looks straight up atrocious. Like you can tell that there's the budget there, because like some of it looks so bad. And I was like, I was trying to like reel it in. But it, you know, and the story is kind of like, it moves really quick. Like it's 2 hours or so. Or is it 2.5 hours? But I just remember thinking like, this is 2 hour, 1 minute. I wanted there to be like a better through line through this stuff. Like I wanted to care about these characters, because they're like moving. They're introducing new characters all the time. They're introducing the villain who you love, Mila Jovovich, Levi, your lady, who she's pretty good, and she's kind of interesting because she's not completely evil. I mean, she is, but she kind of, there's like this kind of where she talks to Hellboy like, hey, we don't have to be enemies. Like I want to be like your friend and actually like be together and stuff. But man, yeah, I don't know. It's hard to recommend seeing it in theaters. I saw it for $5 on a Tuesday. I wouldn't pay any more than that probably to see it again. I might watch it like if it comes to like a streaming service sometime. I will say this though. There's 2 things I really liked. Baba Yaga, terrifying witch lady in this creepy house thing, and they did a really scary good job with her. They probably didn't need to make this R-rated. They do a lot of swearing, and there's a lot of like kind of crappy CGI gore. If they would have cut that out, this movie probably would have been a success. That's the problem, like, because it's R-rated. Yeah, they don't need like any of the swearing. It's not like really, you don't need it to get these points across. But also the CGI, especially one moment where they hurt the Blood Queen. There's her, like her eyes kind of dangling, and it's like, it looks so bad. I was like, is this supposed to be like a 3D thing where I was supposed to like put my glasses on? Like, not good. But the soundtrack by I can't remember his name. Do I have it here? Yes, it's Benjamin Wallfish. Check it out. If you guys like the Doom soundtrack from like 2016 or whatever from Bethesda or whatnot, check this soundtrack out. It is really good. It's got these cool like metallic but also electronic beats to it, and it sounds really nice. And it like, there's a few times when I got amped up during some of these fights. I was like, here we go. Like Hellboy's got his buddy, and they're fighting like this creepy like boar guy. I was like, all right, let's do this. Like, there's some decent fights in here. They're not great, and it's sometimes hard to tell what's going on, but they also do a lot of world building in this one too, which I enjoyed. I don't know if we're going to get a sequel, man. And I don't know if it deserves a sequel, because some of it was just straight up like not good. I was like,
yeah. Do you feel like it was just like more trying to keep the series alive so it can be picked up? And...
yeah, I wonder if it's a copyright thing. I wonder about that sometimes, where it's like, hey, we got to make another movie, because if we don't, we'll lose the copyright to it. Or
I know so many people are pissed about Ron Perlman not being in it.
Yeah, I miss him a lot, and I think they put too much makeup on David Harbour. Like Ron Perlman, you could still tell it was Ron Perlman, and he could still be very like animated and stuff. But David Harbour, I just feel like they mess with his voice too much, and they mess too much with his face, and it's kind of like, it's hard for me to tell that he's there, because I think he's a good actor and I think he fits the role. I just don't know, like, and his relationship with Ian McShane, like his father, who I like as an actor, I felt like, I don't know if he needed him in it either. I don't know. I'm sad because I wanted it to be good, but I knew going in it wasn't going to be like, I was like, we'll see how this looks. And then I was like, yeah, that's about right. Yeah, that's all I can say about, that's like my little Hellboy review. If I had to personally rate it, I'd say it's like a 5 out of 10 or a 5.5 out of 10. I'm sorry. Like, I want it to be better than that. There's some good in this movie. And if you're like a decent Hellboy fan, like if you like the movies, you'll probably like this one, but there's
stick to the comics.
Probably stick to the comics. I want to read those comics. I like Hellboy. I like that world, man. I think it's interesting.
Yeah, nothing against like that franchise. It's just it doesn't look good.
Yeah, it's not. If you Levi,
like, I like Fantastic Four. I just don't like those movies.
Yeah, if we ever got the chance to like stream it and watch it together, it'd be like a fun thing to throw on like the background while you're having like a pizza night with your buddies. That's what this movie is. So the other thing that I could talk about briefly here, two things. Been playing a little Sekiro. Played with Levi the other night. We beat Jerzo, the drunkard. Got him. Yeah, and I like that game. I gotta say, while other From Software games have been iterations on Dark Souls, this feels like an innovation. Finally, between the mechanics of grappling around and kind of like ninjaing and taking guys out one at a time, that feels great.
I knew as soon as I picked up that game, I was like, Jimmy's going to like this part. Jimmy's going to like this part.
Yeah, I like that you have more, there's way more, it's a stupid buzz term, but player agency. Like, you get to choose. Like, if you want to run headlong in and fight a bunch of guys, you could totally do that. Or you can try to pick off a few of them first and then get into a fight, or avoid them altogether. But yeah, I like that. And I don't like in the other Souls games where you have to like walk into the fog, Levi, and then it's like plays the music. It only plays music like when you fight bosses typically. Like they don't have that here. It's like you fight a boss and like the fog is covering the way to the next point. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I like that. It's just like, hey, it's just another guy. And like they haven't really gotten to crazy demonic stuff yet. So it's been mostly just dudes, like just guys for the most part. Like some kind of crazy things here and there, but not anything super insane. Parry system is fun.
Just like how Naruto started.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it just ramps it up. I like the parry system. I feel like it jives really well with me. And I remember like we were playing it and you're like, oh, you kind of take to this quickly. And I was just like, yeah, I personally did. I was like, this feels more like if I had to pick any Souls or From Software game right now, it'd be Sekiro. I'm like, I like this game. This is a good game. This feels like finally a current gen game because those other games, I'm like, they got some problems. Like
Jimmy's coming back over this weekend.
Yeah, it's tempting. And the other thing, too, I've been playing a little bit of the Bear Grylls interactive, it's like You versus Wild, where you have to help Bear Grylls get through the wild on Netflix. It's like Bandersnatch.
Is this a real thing?
It's a real thing.
I love Bear Grylls. What?
Dude, check it out. So it's fun, but you can screw up because basically you'll get to these kind of diverging points where it's like pick A or B, basically. Like, should you eat this thing or not eat this thing or whatever. But it's really funny because you have to take the certain path. Otherwise he'll get sick or something bad will happen. He's like, oh, I have to call to be rescued. So like, he'll be like, all right, you can back up and try it again. So I was playing with my sister and brother-in-law. And there was like one time when he got like this close, he's trying to save, I think her name's Daisy or Dala or whatever, from who was a Saint Bernard in the Swiss Alps, and we saw her, and we were like, he's like, should we slide down this hill to get to her, or should we rappel? And so we slid down a hill, and he like almost fell off the edge, and then he climbed back up, and he's like, I can't get to her. He's like, we better call for rescue. I'm like, dude, she's right there. Like he gave up, so he's like, you got to go back and do it again. You have to rappel.
How does this choice thing work?
So basically, you'll get to a crossroads, and Bear Grylls will like look at you, and he'll be like, he'll be like, it's your call, like you're making the choice here. Like, do you want me to do this or that? And so you get to pick. And then it's funny because like as the series has gone on, I feel like he's gotten more and more lippy with the camera. So like we had him eat like bear like feces that were like there were nuts in the feces, so I had to take those off and clean them. And so we're like, eat that, and he's like, he like looks at the camera, he's like, you guys are sick. And then he like he's eating it. I was like, oh, Bear, like if you love Bear Grylls,
how much he had to like film for each segment?
I know everything was 2 things over, and it's really funny to see, like, because you know that some of it's staged, where you're like, okay, clearly, like they had to do it this way. Like when they're trying to save Daisy or whatever her name is, she's clearly with a trainer. She's been out in the wilderness for like 24 hours, but she's totally like she looks completely fine. So yeah, it's really
maybe
fun.
Daisy is fine. Maybe the rest of the forest isn't fine.
Yeah, maybe. All I'm going to say is I recommend checking it out if you like Bear Grylls, or if you just liked Black Mirror Bandersnatch. It's kind of that same thing where you get to kind of choose your own adventure, but this is a very specific way they want you to do it. So yeah, that's what I've been killing time with. I'd say check out 2 of those things, 2 of the 3. Levi, what have you been killing time with?
Sekiro, Borderlands 2 I've been dabbling with a little bit. I haven't had a lot of time for games lately, but when I do, yeah, I'm playing some FF9 as well. So.
Oh, cool. Nice. Who's your favorite character in FF9?
Oh, Vivi.
Vivi. Good choice. Powering up Steiner.
Mm-hmm.
Good choice. All right, Levi. Time to move into my personal favorite segment of the show, community feedback.
And questions.
Yes, very good. I think we're just going to do a question this week. Like I said, we're trying to keep it tight. But I want to talk about this. Missile Mage sent this question in, and he said, this is related to Star Wars. So I was like, let's do it. He says, I know, Jimmy, that you're not the greatest fan of nostalgia, which I'm intruding into new things being made today. I just want to go on the record and say I'm trying to remember what things he means specifically, but I think it's more like Jurassic World or Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, Levi, like when they're like, oh, hey, it's the Jeep that, like, he's right by the Jeep that fell out of the tree or whatever, like, or the, I should say, Ford Explorer. But yes, I still like nostalgia when done properly. Anyway, should newer projects completely shy away from nostalgia, or is there a way to do it tastefully, giving people something they love without compromising the whole? Levi, what do you think about this? Should newer projects just stay away from nostalgia, or can you do it in a good way? I feel like I kind of answered it there for a second, but
you can do it in a good way.
Yeah, like, do you think Pokemon, like Detective Pikachu, will try to do that? Like, kind of go after some of that?
I don't know, but I know, like, Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu really played on nostalgia, and it was a big payoff. Those games sold bonkers, and people were really into them. So if you can do it right like that and make it fresh and interesting and new.
Sure, but I mean, like, movie-wise.
Oh, movie-wise? No. I have never seen a movie yet that can play on nostalgia correctly.
Yeah, I think, like, I look at, like, The Hobbit, for instance, where they try to do that with, like, bringing in freaking Legolas and, like, being like, hey, don't you remember this guy?
And his eyes are all fucked up, and I hate it.
Yeah, it's really bad. I'm trying to think of a way they've done it where it's been subtle at all, because usually nostalgia, it's like, hey, don't you remember this thing? And you're like, yeah, I remember it.
Marvel, but, like, that's not even, it's all connected. So
Marvel does it over the top with, like, you watch Captain Marvel in, like, the 90s, like, hey, remember Blockbuster? Like, and you're like, yeah, man. Like,
but that's like funny. That's a funny way to do it.
Or like loading screen on a computer. Like, I get it. I get where you're coming from. Yeah, so that's a good question. I think there probably are good examples of it. We just can't think of them right now.
Better get out the floppy disk.
Yeah, exactly. It's usually like these big tentpole movies and blockbusters that bum me out the most, because, like, it's so forced. It's just like, oh, remember such and such, and you're like, oh yeah, I do. The other question that he had for us this week, and I kind of answered it on stream, Levi, but I do want to ask you: are there any superpowers you wouldn't like to have?
Any superpowers I would not like to have?
That is correct.
Regenerative ability like Wolverine, just kill me. Just kidding.
My God. I thought about that one too. I was like, so people just try to kill you all the time. They'd be like, hey, let's go kill Levi tonight. And then he just, like, would heal, and he'd be like, I feel the pain. And they're like, that's fine.
I would not want like Meg from Family Guy, where, like, all her fingernails just grow. That's like it.
Sure.
She's like, this is it.
The one that he said that people also say, and I said this too, was like an uncontrollable telepathy.
Oh.
Yeah, because I think that would drive you crazy. Not only would it be crazy to hear everybody else around you, but, like, having loved ones, like, you ask them a question or tell them to tell you something, and, like, you would just know the real answer, and you'd be like, oh my gosh, I don't want to hear this. Like, you know, it'd be like it's like Superman's hearing. Like, sometimes he's just like, I hear too much. Like, he can't help everybody. But yeah, I think telepathy would be a kind of a bad one too. Like, I don't know. I get it. That wouldn't be great. But telekinesis, that's the best power. Fight me on it. It is the greatest power. That's all I'm trying to say. Like, it's so good. Every use. Well, guys, you know, like I said, it's just kind of a shorter show this week, but I kind of wanted to try this bite-size episode instead, kind of cramming a bunch of stuff in there. And I'd like you guys to let us know if you enjoyed it. And you can do so by tweeting the hashtag Critical Podcast to the official account, which is @GoCritical, or you can tweet at me. I'm at JimmyGood013. If you have a question or a GIF or something for Levi, where would they find you, Levi?
Levi Fletcher.
Perfect. And what special hashtag should they send us this week? Should it be Star Wars related?
Nope. It should be, Porgs. All Porgs.
Hashtag Porgs?
Mm-hmm.
Porgs. Hashtag Porgs. If you listen to the show, tweet us hashtag Porgs so we know that you're listening.
I'll also accept a GIF of Luke milking that weird.
Oh, yeah, that weird thing. Yeah. And then he does the whole, like he's just drinking it. Yeah, if you want to check us out over on Twitch playing games like Sekiro, we should still have that up there for the archive. If you guys want to see that, then head over to twitch.tv/criticalreviews. If you'd like to support us, one great way is to go to our Spreadshirt to get a shirt kind of like this one. You get a spreadshirt shirt like this. And if you actually do get a shirt or any type of merchandise, tweet us a picture. We want to know. We want to know how it looks on you, because I'm sure with your beautiful face and what you've been doing with your hair lately, it'll look really nice. Whoever you are, if you're listening to this, I'm sure it will. I want to thank a few people who make the show possible. Thank you to Daleb for our intro and outro music, and the one and only Yoren Evers for doing pretty much all of the art you see here on the channel. If you like Yoren, you should go check out his Instagram, his Twitter. All that stuff should be linked for you to check out. But if you want to support us in a big way, throw us $1 over on patreon.com/criticalreviews, or $5 or whatever. Various tiers, like the $5 tier, can actually get you access to this podcast a day early if that's your sort of jam. Thank you so much, guys, for hanging out with us again. I know this is a little bit of a shorter episode, but I think it was kind of good, kind of brisk, kind of refreshing. Again, really couldn't do this with Joe. Joe, if you're listening to this, I love you, buddy. But like, even stuff you don't like talking about, we'd still be going. And but I love Joe's explanations. I never wonder what he's thinking. I don't need the telepathy with Joe. He tells me. And I appreciate that. Levi, thank you so much. I'm excited to see you play some more Sekiro here. Is there anything else you'd like to say before we sign off for tonight?
Welcome to the game.
Welcome to the game. Nice. Excellent. Well, thank you, everybody, for watching. Love and hugs to you all. And just remember to adapt and overcome. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.